Peoples, what is going on? I am Finesse, and we are here in the Finesse studio because today we are going to be talking about iRacing. All right. So my wife always tells me I have way too many hobbies, but I'm trying to narrow them down just a little bit. But that's a whole nother conversation. At any rate, I am really into online racing, and for years I've been on Forza Motorsport. I've been on Gran Turismo, and now I'm venturing into iRacing. All right, and I'm doing that because the way the systems work with Forza Motorsport and Gran Turismo, as far as the matching goes, it's to me it seems a little, I guess, disconnected. And then on top of that, the penalty systems for either one of those, to me, doesn't really jive right. Or maybe I'm on with a group of people or something, or I'm in a league and they have like these crazy settings for the league with tire wear and damage and penalties and all these things. And to me, it just didn't make a lot of sense. Okay. Whereas when I looked at iRacing, you know, it's so tailored towards like real life as an actual simulator that, you know, a lot of these rules and the tire wear and the weather and those types of things, it just makes sense. All right. So that just happens to be one of those things. But anyways, that all being said, let's jump right into these videos. This was the first online race that I did, and we are in the Mazda Miata at the Charlotte Motorsports Speedway, or the Charlotte Speedway. It's like a semi-oval. There's like an infield on it. And I qualified in third place, you know, because I've been doing some practicing ahead of time. All right. But we'll get right into it. And immediately, one of the first things I thought of when I was in the simulator was that the car just felt really light. Okay. I mean, okay, granted, I know it's a Miata. Okay. They're light. But the car just like the feedback, there was not a lot of feedback in the wheel. So it took a lot of getting used to as to, you know, how the car was reacting as you're going around the track. But as you can see here, I'm doing pretty good holding my own. We're going around these corners, and yes, I do have the driving line on, mostly because in this simulator, in iRacing, ooh, a little bump there. But in iRacing, you don't really get too much as far as visuals of what's going on the track. And while I'm familiar with a lot of these tracks, the line is just, you know, helping me out as we get started. Later on, I may take it off. I might not. Who knows? We'll just see how it goes. But anyway, we're going around here pretty good. I'm maintaining my third place, but fourth is like hot on my heels as we get into this braking zone right here. And this line that I'm taking, I was trying to get in behind this that Golf Miata. And it was pretty successful. I was staying behind him. He was or that person, because they were doing pretty good. So the goal or the idea is that if that person's making a break, I'm going forward too. All right. Well, we're coming around this corner, and I get real close up on him, and then I ended up taking a bad line and hit the little rumble strip, which bounced the car, lost traction, slowed me down, and we're still going through. But here's one of my favorite sections of the track, as I regained some of that time back. And then as we're coming around this turn here, you're going to see this car behind me. He's going to go for it, right? And we make some contact, and now we're coming around, and he took a lot of damage. So not a big deal, right? Because this is my first race. I'm just trying to get used to it. But the bad part about it is that I had to wait for the rest of the field to come through because everybody was so tight. I mean, it's the first lap, so everybody's pretty tight. But anyways, we get back on the track, which for me was good because the other person that ran into me, they lost bumper and had a bunch of damage. So I think their race was probably over. But anyway, despite starting in third place, and then despite having that accident, I was able to catch back up to traffic. And unfortunately, I did the exact same thing that was done to me to somebody else. Just coming around that corner way too hot, like I'm there by myself as opposed to with traffic. And then that basically shoves us both into the wall. And even despite this, the second accident, all the carnage that happened on this first race, I still ended up finishing in 7th place somehow. I don't know how that happened, but after getting towed to the pits, I went back out on the track and finished in 7th. So anyway, on to the next one, right? Lessons were learned. So in this one, I started out in 5th place, and you know, trying to keep my space, keep my distance between myself and the other racers. And we're going around the Charlotte Motor Speedway again, and I'm just kind of easing into the race here. So here I get a little bit of a bump. I get turned around, and now I didn't have to wait for traffic this time, so I was able to get back on the track. But you know, I kept going. Didn't want to end the race because I just figured there was going to be a lot of carnage, just like it was in the previous races. So you know, there's always a chance. But anyway, get back on track. I've got my head down. You know, trying to get some good laps in, and I'm looking at, you know, the other racers on the track, and eventually I do catch up. So that tells me that I had the pace. So you know, despite getting knocked off, I had the pace to keep up with the rest of the field. All right. Then right there we see there was an accident, so that vaulted me up a few spots as well. And now I'm just trying to stay behind this person here. But at any rate, started in 5th. I got bumped, but I did catch up with the rest of the field, therefore ending the race in 7th place. No, ending the race in 6th place. All right. So that just goes to show you, if you're just starting out with iRacing, you know, just stay on the track, try and, you know, stay clean, and, you know, who knows what's going to happen. I mean, there's bound to be an accident somewhere, right? So in this race, we started out in 4th place right here from the cockpit. And again, my goal is to try to stay as clean as possible, keep a bubble around me, and not let, you know, too many people get close or me get too close to anyone else. All right. But you see me here moving up here on 2nd place, and we're coming around this corner, and then for whatever reason, I'm not sure, the 1st place person, they ended up going across the track, and then the 2nd place person went wide, so that put me in 1st place. And at this point, like I said from the previous races, I knew I had the pace. All I had to do was stay clean, keep the car on the track, and you know, that pace should get me out up in front, all right? And I mean, that's pretty much what happened. There wasn't a lot of action here, you know, being up in the front. So on some of these turns, second place was catching up to me. So especially like through these little corners here, for whatever reason, I just could not get those corners right, and that would give second place a chance to get back in my draft and get close to me. But that didn't last for long. I didn't really have to worry about it much, because later in the lap, I think right before we finished, there was an accident behind me. Now, second place, I don't know why this person was braking. I don't know what they were thinking, what was going on, but they brake and then they turn into third place, which basically ends up spinning him out, crashing both of them. And everybody else behind them had to slow down, so that gave me a gap. And for the rest of the race, that's pretty much all it was. I just had to keep it clean. I had a few seconds on everybody, and that gave me my first ever victory in iRacing after 3 online races, which therefore increased my safety rating, taking me out of the rookies and putting me into the D class for iRacing. The feeling of iRacing is way different than Forza Motorsport or Gran Turismo, you know, what I'm used to. And because for the Miatas, and I guess it kind of makes sense, right? Because the car is a really light car, but there's not a lot of lateral resistance on the force feedback for these cars. So for a while there, you know, when I was doing my practice, it was really taking a long time to understand what the car was doing once you hit the limit of your traction. Okay, so there were a lot of qualifying where I spun out. There was a lot of practices where I spun out, but you know, it's just a learning curve, and it wasn't that much of a learning curve. Because if you're already familiar with racing, then you know it's going to come to you. All right. But anyways, that's going to do it for now, and I will be bringing you guys, in addition to the Indian motorcycle content, I will also be bringing you guys some of this iRacing content. So I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you put a comment down below. Do you guys do iRacing? Is it something that interests you? At any rate, maybe I'll even see you on the track. All right. But you know how we do it, man. Ride every day, and most importantly, make sure you're enjoying it. Peace.